Did I scare you? Rawr, I'm a Junkrat main for Halloween. Absolutely disgusting. We continue on with each map ranked for Junkrat. We got most of the bad maps out of the way, and now we got a whole lot of mid coming up next. Most maps in the game are pretty serviceable for Junkrat. You can play Junk pretty decently, but as we go on, obviously the quality is going to slowly progress. These first couple maps are pretty whatever though, but you could still find value in some spots, and with how you play Junkrat on these maps. Route 66 is another mid to kinda sucky map for Junkrat. You can play him here, and it won't suck nearly half as bad as the other maps in the last video, but he's still not crazy here. It's whatever, it's weird. We got the American Southwest in Overwatch. Hey, it's just like Arizona. We got cactuses, we got bikers, we got gas stations, we got freaking rocks, we got dust. What more could a man ask for? But yeah, it's a pretty good looking map, and it represents this part of the United States pretty well. The first point kinda sucks, cause you got this high ground that most of the defenders are gonna stand on. Good thing though, cause just under the high ground is the inside of a gas station. A perfect place for Junk to call home since it's another enclosed space. You could also spam into these 3 chokes to make defending the cart a horrible experience. Just completely deny the enemy team from walking in. If you're defending, you could also use these cramped areas to your advantage. You could probably just like live in these tunnels and throw a couple combos out. Although the attacking team could definitely just blow straight through your team and ignore you if you don't make the right choices. But overall, the first point is a little annoying because of the high ground, but it can be worked around. Second point is horrible. Okay, that's a bit harsh. It's nowhere near as bad as the other maps, but this is just a little bit too much high ground for my tastes. But at least you could live in the saloon or just wrap around too, I guess. Defending it is a little bit easier since you could just lob stuff at these chokes, since the teams are going to be funneling through there and there. Third point's pretty linear. This turn is a good angle for Junk, but past that, it's pretty limited. I could care less for this map, and as I talk about it, I should rank it lower, but it's also not super bad, but it's also whatever. I don't really like it. And whenever I see it, I just kind of groan, but it's not Havana at least. It's whatever. Hollywood is pretty weird for Junkrat. This map has a lot of high ground, and if you pick Junkrat for this map, you're gonna look pretty weird and out of place. First point is kinda easy to defend since you have this fat corner and the inside of this building, which is perfect for Junkrat. Just shoot out of this little area and bam, profit. Attacking really sucks if they're a poke comp, but if they're anything else, then it's a little bit easier. You also have this flank with the Mega, which is kinda neat for Junkrat. Cap first point and bada bing bada boom, now there's high ground. Coming through this choke sucks if you're on attack, because all they gotta do, again, is just sit there and pepper you into Swiss cheese, which is why I guess you could just traverse through this hallway and into the buildings, but man, does pushing it as Junkrat feel a little bit bad. Pro tips: if you're having a hard time on second point as Junkrat, I'll show you a cool little pro strat. Third point is more enclosed, which makes things a little bit easier for Junk, especially the high ground, because if you just mine up here, it's pretty tight, so you could easily get some value by comboing whoever walks at you. The only real rough part about this point is the opening for the last point, which it's kind of weird. Listen, if the second point was lower and had some different ways of traversal, this would be a pretty decent map, but alas. Yo, what's up? Welcome to New York. Midtown can be pretty rough for Rat. A map set in New York was weirdly absent from Overwatch 1's original map pool, so I'm glad they finally came around to it in Overwatch 2. This map is so pretty, and the theme is pretty sick. Fire. But the map itself is kind of annoying to push through and defend kinda. Like, I like this map a lot. It looks super cool and pretty, but it's also kind of annoying to play around as Junkrat, because each point has some open sight lines, but also some flank paths to even it out, but it doesn't really change much for me. There's not really any annoying high grounds or anything like that. It just kind of feels too open. First point is this weird choke that isn't horrible, but it kind of depends. It's pretty good for spamming through, but it's wide enough that you need to be careful and not get sniped or peppered down. There's these flanks too, but first point just sucks for defending and pushing as Junkrat. It's always 50-50 for me. We'll either get hard stuck here or we'll just get steamrolled. This building over here is good to hold too, since there's a health pack if they start pushing through the choke. You could also be cheeky and jump over the train here, but you will most likely die or at least trade with somebody. Second point, like Route 66 and Hollywood, sucks because of this bridge area. They just kind of stand here and yep, you just kind of take it. And even past the bridge, it's still pretty open. It's a freaking shooting range. Third point is finally indoors, like the rest of the escort maps. It takes place in Grand Central Station, and it's still kind of open. Junkrat on this map is a coin toss and really depends on the ebb and flow of the match itself. But I mean, if you're just that guy, then it could certainly work out. Numani sucks. It's not the worst map in the game, but it's my personal least favorite map. This is the map I actually groan at whenever I get it. Like, I'm not even joking. I freaking hate this map. I'd rather play Concord than play on Numani. That's how much I hate this map. But hey, at least I can recognize that's my skill issue, and it's actually not that bad. First off, with the looks, a really neat African utopia, and I can really appreciate the attention to detail for following traditional African architecture, archetypes, and aesthetics. So yeah, another map that looks pretty good. Awesome. First point is freaking weird. It's surrounded by high ground looking down at main, and the only other ways to push are this flank off to the side and this high ground over here. First point is actually pretty good for Junkrat, considering main is just this hallway you can spam down. Same goes for these places. Just be annoying, be a Junkrat, live your dreams. Attacking sucks, but it's pretty doable. You even have this path that leads to the high ground, and it's super close quarters, so it's perfect for you. And once you capture first point, second point is more open. God, I just realized most of these escort hybrid maps follow the same design philosophies. Anyways, it's got some more high ground, but you have ways to get past it, but it can still be pretty rough since it's a little bit open. Third point is meh, and it's pretty common to have a hard time here. You probably get stuck here for a little bit. There's this building and this building here that you can use for cover, so that's pretty nice. I can't wait to finish these maps and move on to the other game modes, because oh my god, they're starting to melt together. It's usually first point is kind of open, second point is pretty open with some high ground, and then first point is more close quarters inside. There's a lot of maps that follow this pattern, and it's kind of weird, but I mean, I get it. I mean, it probably is kind of difficult to come up with new maps for hybrid and escort, but yeah. And you're trying to balance all of these heroes into one map, so it can be difficult, but still. Next up, we got Rialto, and it's pretty fine. It's serviceable. A lot of heroes can play on this map, actually, and I see a lot of people gas it up, and for good reason. It's a pretty decent map. I don't feel too strongly about it. I'm kind of just like, oh cool, Rialto, awesome. A map set in Venice, Italy, and it's a really cool looking map. You got the canals, you got the buildings overlooking the canals, the architecture's cool, pretty neat. Honestly, if this was ranked by the looks of all the maps and how they look, every single map would be top tier. Like, there would not be a single map under A tier to me. But when it comes to gameplay, that's when most maps fumble the bag. Not Rialto though. I think this map is pretty alright, and for Junkrat too. First point is where struggles would be had, since there's this high ground just kind of gatekeeping you from doing anything, but it's pretty easy to push through. This next part is pretty open, and you only really have this flank to go off of, or to play with your team just a little bit more. If you're defending, then these spots are pretty good to hold as Junkrat. And once you capture first point, it's pretty annoying since there's another high ground, but if the team is pushing up and taking space, it can be easy to just mine jump up there and cause chaos. It's indoors too, so that's a good plus. maps. There's some pretty good cover to play around on this point, and these indoor areas are perfect for Junkrat. Listen, you missed your combo or you're just fumbling the bag, you can just ricochet off of the walls. It's awesome. Third point is inside. Oh boy, what a surprise. But it's really small and literally just outside a second point, but because it's indoors, that automatically makes it pretty good for Junkrat, and it's pretty flat too, so no annoying high grounds over here. But overall, Rialto's a fine map. If this was a traditional tier list, it'd probably be low A tier, around B tier. But yeah, that's pretty much part 2 for this series. A lot of the hybrid escort maps kind of blend in together. I'm not gonna lie, they all kind of share the same designs and are pretty samey for Junkrat. It just kind of depends on the team composition and all that junk. But yeah, I'm really happy to get this out the way because there's so many better maps for Junkrat. But yeah, thanks for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I put a lot of effort into these. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that junk, and tell me down in the comments what your favorite maps for Junkrat are out of this whole bunch. And yeah, see you in a week or two. Bye.